Hello and welcome to a dark edition of Let's Talk Song. I'm trying a new light. Hey, before we get into it, not a sponsor, but I just saw it online, so why not mention it. Thomann's got an Easter sale, things and guitars, especially guitars, up to 30% off and stuff. So put a link right under this video, check it out. The sales benefit me, so if you like me, why wouldn't you do it? And check out the sale, see if there's anything you can find that's cool. I haven't. I got an email, I went through it before the prices went down, so I don't know how far they went down, but check it out, could be cool. Thomann Easter sale. Okay, now we're gonna talk about, again, not sponsored. Well, technically because I get a cut. Let's call it sponsored, I don't know. Let's talk about song. Let's not talk about Thomann, let's talk about song. Someone else starts his videos like this. I wanna pose a question. This is not about a particular song, and it is a free-form video, so nothing, I don't have a teleprompter or anything, never do. It's not scripted. I want to pose a question. What is more relevant in music? What makes music better? A great song or a great performance? Now I want you to discuss this vividly and wildly in the comments below, but I'm going to give you a couple of reasons why I vehemently think it is the song. Let's look at it. Here you have a shit song. And we're really talking about a song that just doesn't really work. And why could a song not really work? Because they're changing tempos, they're changing keys, themes and motifs and rhythms are unrelated, rhyme schemes are not there, every part and every portion has a different kind of idea. And we're going to get into pattern recognition very soon here in this video. And it's just a song that doesn't work on several levels. But we're going to put the best freaking musicians in the world on it. We're going to put the best guitar players, the best producers, and the best singers on it, the best performance you can possibly have. Is that a song you're going to enjoy? Now, given those musicians might put on their little themes, which they would have a hard time doing because things are unrelated harmonically and all that. And these themes might all of a sudden be a motif that repeats. Repetition is important. But let's say shit song performed by the best people in the world. And then you got a great song performed by pretty damn lousy musicians. Now, when would that ever happen? Well, that, of course, in bands and in production happens. But you have these two things. Which one are you going to enjoy more? Which one do you think is going to be more of a hit? Which one do you think is more timeless and will be listened to in 20 years? That's the big question. And I'm going to make more videos in this series talking about this. We're going to get into, once we figured out whether it's song or performance, then is it performance or sound? Because this comes right to guitar choice, amp choice, blah, blah, blah. How do you mic it? Is the tone, sound and tone to me are two different things, by the way. But is how it sounds relevant at all to how much people are going to enjoy the song? And then if it is, blah, we're gonna really get down to the detail. But let me answer what I think is the correct answer, or correct, I mean, what I think is what's happening. I think performance is relevant if overall you want something good, sure. But I think to your enjoyment of it and to making a song that's timeless, it's not relevant at all. I think it always comes down to having a good song. Having the foundation of what you're performing needs to be there. And why do I think that? Reason one, karaoke. That thing where people go to a bar, put on popular songs, good songs that have a good song foundation, and perform them in the most horrible way possible.
Wake up, grab right foot a little leg up. I don't think you just.
Now, these karaoke why can't I say that? Priorities, also a difficult word for me. These karaoke, songs, they're usually mediocre or bad MIDI backing tracks of the actual songs. Better or worse, there's, different levels, but it could be a pretty shitty one, just all with MIDI instruments and not a great performance, but it's recognizably that song without the vocal tracks. And then some half-drunk girl from the office sings rather horribly. But you can recognize some of the lyrics and some of the melody. Why is karaoke such a big thing? If performance made music enjoyable, why is it a multi-billion-dollar business? That's the big question, right? I'm gonna get coffee. Karaoke. Pretty shit performances, can be good, but usually shit, of good songs that you know and love. You're still enjoying it. Isn't that weird? Because the song is there. Of course, a shitty performance of a shitty song just makes shit, and you're not having fun. But if the song is there, it's all good. The performance isn't that important. Covers. If the performance is relevant, and of course, okay, in a cover you can still have a good performance, but it's a different performance of what you know. But you're still hearing the song you like. And therefore, a cover, even if it's performed in a completely different style and maybe even badly, you're still enjoying the song.
Now my baby's dancing, but she's dancing with another man.
Now, I recently started working with a cover band, all guys in their, late 40s and 50s, and you know what? They're not great. They really aren't. They can't even practice a single part of a song without actually playing the whole song from the very beginning. They stumble over breaks and grooves and whatever. So I recently mixed them at a small bar. People had a blast because they heard the songs they love. The performance was arguably, not really arguably, it wasn't great, okay? So cover, karaoke, you're still having fun, even though sometimes it's not the greatest performance. But let's go to things that defined generations. Black Dog. Let's go to fucking Black Dog. Led Zeppelin. There's this riff. I don't have an acoustic here. There's this riff that turns around and has a really, really cool feel for it. Jimmy Page doesn't really know what's going on, and he's actually dropping an eighth note, and he's trying to catch up that eighth note. He's rushing through it while the band's trying to keep up with him. It's arguably a pretty shit performance. He doesn't understand his own riff. It's Led Zeppelin's Black Dog. You fucking love it. There's Cat Stevens. Oh my god, Cat Stevens is fucking brilliant. This is songwriting on the highest level. And then you listen to the performance back then. Most of it played in the room with the same people at the same time because it didn't have multi-track. And you can clearly hear that the drummer is stumbling over a tom fill. It's not even really in time. He's not really hitting the one with the rest of the band. That would be something that nowadays doesn't even remotely make the cut. That drummer who had feel and was just beautiful probably would have been replaced by a studio drummer for a worldwide release like this. The performance wasn't good. The song was. And we still listen to it, we still hear it. So my argument is, performance, yes, if you have a good one, that can help a bit. It can massage a bad song to be a slightly better song, but not really a good one. But the foundation has to be there. And what is a song? It's not arranging, it's not production. A song is chords, melody, and if it's sung, the lyrics. These three things make up a song. Whatever then happens to it is arranging. Whatever then happens to it is production and recording. And that foundation has to be there. What about modern music, where everything is perfect? It's perfectly on the grid. So the performance is perfect. Where in R&B and hip-hop and whatever, the vocals are just, sometimes they literally just sing a line that's completely not in tune or key, and then they artificially go and auto-tune it and make the perfect vocal line. It kind of sounds like a synthesizer singing it, but technically it's a perfect, at least pitch-wise, performance. Is that making better songs? You're really going to say that these songs are better because they have better performances? Is it more pleasant to listen to? Of course, we're going to go into performance doesn't mean perfection, and it doesn't. When I talk about an amazing performance, I don't talk about a perfect performance. I talk about a great performance. And oftentimes, these are not perfect. These are slightly off the grid. They've got a feel. They have pitch variations and all that. So the whole striving for perfection with auto-tune and quantization isn't resulting in perfect songs. So it's important to recognize that nowadays there is perfection in performance, but are those really the better songs? Versus, let's look at the 60s, 70s, and 80s where that even wasn't possible, but they just had good songwriting. Worth a thought. Now let's talk about what defines a good song. Of course, we can talk about that all day long, but in general, songwriting and good and solid songwriting is about pattern recognition. And I know that sounds like a super reductionist way, and where's the muse and where's the inspiration and blah, 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 blah. It's directly in front of that. It's directly before pattern recognition sets in a good songwriter. So you have an inspiration. I often think of cool lyric lines or even rhythms or whatever in the shower. The shower for me is where things rain down on me. Sounds dirty. And I have an inspiration. Inspiration comes first. It can come from something you listen to. It can come from a mood. It can come from today the weather is horrible. It can come from something you heard on the news. Inspiration has many, 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 many different sources. You can be even musically inspired by a drum groove you heard and you write to the groove. You can be inspired by a melody you heard and you're writing chords. You can be inspired by chords that you heard and you're writing a melody. You can be inspired by lyrics and you want to write to those lyrics. And by the way, in the almost but not quite complete guide to songwriting, in the writing section, we're taking each of these starting points, drums, chords, lyrics, melody, guitar, riff, anything that could musically inspire you to get a start, and we're showing you how to write a song based on that impetus, based on that inspiration. Comes out on April 30th at spectreacademy.net. It is over 52 hours long, and for the first 2 weeks it will sell for $2.99.
My way, I left the path I went astray. But
Get this is so freaking awesome. I talked to my friend Tyler from Sweetwater about this, okay? So I'm like, hey Tyler, I got this song and this songwriting course, do you have any ideas for it? So Tyler goes, get this, why don't you do a giveaway for the first 2 weeks? Whoever buys it in the first 2 weeks gets a chance to win a $3,000 songwriting package. He said, go on the website, pick things for $3,000. We're going to send it to one winner. So I put universal audio interface on there. There's an Ibanez guitar. There's a Native Instruments keyboard with software suite. There's a Cubase, Easy Bass, 2 Lewitt mics, cables, stands, strings. It's a full package you need as a songwriter to actually produce your songs. Freaking awesome. And Spectre Academy, get this, is gonna throw the freaking kitchen sink at you as well, because they're going to give you everything. They're going to give you access, if you are the winner, to every single course and plugin they have. So you're winning everything they have, worth, I don't know, another $2,000 or something like this. It's a ridiculous price package, which you can win if you buy the course within the first 2 weeks at the ridiculous reduced rate at $299. You're going to hear more from me about this. Okay, now back to the song. So you got an inspiration from whatever, and you're establishing a pattern rather quickly, okay? With this inspiration, you are writing 4 lines of lyrics, and they're brilliant. It could be the chorus, it could be the verse, it could be that's the starting point. Now, music is about, oftentimes, repetition. Okay? In prog, it sometimes is about disappointing that repetition. You expecting something, but then the next measure has an 8th note missing or something like this. But it is about patterns. And recognizing the pattern that you've established lyrically in the first 4 lines that are brilliant is necessary. What did you do thematically? What did you do rhyme scheme-wise? What is the shape of your verse? Where do you start it within the measure? Because if you're starting it on the 2, there's a good idea to give contrast in the chorus, to start your chorus be in front of the beat or on the beat so that it feels different than your verse. What about chords that you're then finding for your verse, if that's the first thing you have, the thing that inspired you in the shower? Recognizing the key, recognizing the tempo, the feel, so that you then can set some parameters to not deviate from it too much, all of a sudden changing keys completely. Or if you're changing keys, recognize that you're changing keys and set it up with a secondary dominant. Things like this. I think good songwriting is about inspiration, but then being able to not wait for the next inspiration, then being able to have a set of tools that you learned to recognize the patterns in what you've done and expand on them. I have a great idea here. You know this. I've got a great idea here. Just smacking them together doesn't make a good song. People try it all the time. We looked at Metallica's Screaming Suicide, and it didn't work. This disconnected writing is what isn't fun. Being able to recognize what you've done and connect it with another thing, or you have 2 things, like how do I connect them? Can I actually maybe transpose this and make these 2 things work together? I've got a great riff here. Damn it, that's cool. Let's recognize the pattern and take that riff into different chords so that all of a sudden I can actually write a song with it. Because you know what, a riff is not a song, as Trey Xavier on his channel mentioned 1 billion times. And he's right. But how do I recognize what makes up the riff and transpose it so that actually I can write a song with it? Good songwriting is about pattern recognition and having the tools to then taking those patterns throughout the song. My first verse is amazing. How do I make the second verse just as amazing? Let's see what's in the first verse. Length, metric rhythm, phrasing. Recognize a pattern and a melodic motif. And let's not make the second verse completely different, because people already have it in their heads. They would like to hear something there that they've already heard, but a variation of it. Chorus. I have a motif here. I have a pattern. How do I develop that without going too far away from it? Because again, music's about repetition. Good repetition, slight variations. We could go into, tone and sound versus performance. We're going to talk about that in another lesson. Think about it and please comment. Do you think it's performance or song? And if song is the really important thing, what makes a good song versus a bad song? A song that doesn't make it. There are reasons why we like certain things more than others. Of course, within, a range of what we like. But I think that patterns and interesting motif development is key. And that can be learned. That is the main thing that we don't mention it that much, but in the end, that's what we're teaching you in the almost but not quite complete guide to songwriting. Coming April 30th. And of course, you're going to hear about that here on the channel. I hope you get it because we put over a year's worth of work into it and it's good. I have people that watched it and they say it's good. Okay, thanks for watching. We'll talk song again and animals at the end.